Just like I have no idea what to do with my hands, I don't know how to start this video. Do I start it by saying a bunch of nice things about TGV? Do I start it by saying a bunch of nice things about Mark from Long Island Watch? I don't know. I bought this watch to support both of those creators because I love their content, and buying something that they work together on is a great way to support them. But it also just so happens that I really enjoy the watch. So that is what this video is, me sharing my wearing experience of the Islander times the Urban Gentry Rangemaster. But because I am talking about an Urban Gentry watch, customary rich watch check, a wrist watch check. I can't do it, I'm not a professional like TGV. Can't even get the words out. But today I am wearing the 35mm silver dial Tissot PRX. I was thinking this was going to be too small, but I freaking love this thing. This thing is an absolute dream on the wrist, and I have a 6.5-inch wrist. The 40mm was just way too big. This is the bee's knees, if that's something you understand. But now onto the watch of the hour, and we'll start with the measurements. As far as the weight, it comes in at 117 grams when it's sized up for my 6.5-inch wrist. I measured the case diameter at around 38.4, 38.5 millimeters. I measured the lug to lug to be 45 millimeters, and the thickness was about 9.9 to 10 millimeters, so very, very thin. Here are some quick size comparisons. I don't know what model this is. This is the Seiko 5 Field Watch SNK something, 37 millimeters. Here we have the 38 millimeter Hamilton Khaki Mechanical. Here are two very different watches, both of which might be found on the Nostromo. The Casio G-Shock DW5600. I don't know the diameter. It's 44, something like that. 42. There you go. Here it is next to the 36mm Rolex Explorer. This is the 40mm Tissot PRX. Here is the 35mm Tissot PRX. And here is the 39mm Tudor Black Bay 58. Now here is how the watch looks on my 6.5-inch wrist, and I have to say this may be one of the best fitting watches I have ever worn. The dimensions feel as though they were made for my wrist. If I rotate it around, you can see that it is a very thin watch. Rotating farther around to the back, you can see that the clasp has this little cover so it doesn't come off, and it has the TGV Urban Gentry lion right there. Rotating back around, very thin. Just an absolute dream on the wrist. Perfect sizing. And just for good measure, here is a quick Lume shot of the watch. The orientation is fantastic because you have the triangle at 12, you have the 3, 6, 9, the hour and minute hand are all very distinguishable, and you even have a little bit of lume on the seconds hand. It is just excellently lumed. Very well done there as well. And now let's talk about the wearing experience, and we'll start with what I really enjoyed about this watch. And the first thing is, it just put a big smile on my face because it gives me such strong sci-fi vibes. I don't know exactly what it is about this watch that gives me those vibes. Maybe it's the numerals, maybe it's the re-hot, maybe it's the black and the gray and the steel, but I could imagine myself wearing this on the Nostromo while I'm going to kick the crap out of a xenomorph. That just puts a smile on my face. Secondly is actually the very first thing I noticed when I pulled this out of the box. It is legible, legible, legible. The minute hand and second hand reach all the way out to the end. You can look down at a glance and tell exactly what time it is, and being that my eyes are getting worse and worse by the day, I absolutely love that. That is a huge pro for me, something that I loved while wearing this. The third thing that I loved is the sizing. As I already mentioned, I think the sizing of this watch is about as perfect as it can get for somebody like me, so it just looks phenomenal, it wears phenomenal, it is comfortable. 10 out of 10 for me. Fourth, there is no ghost date position on this movement, so if you pull the crown out, you just have the single position and it allows you to set the time, and it also hacks. You do not have that ghost date position, which is absolutely amazing. Fifth, you have a screw down crown, which I am always a fan of because it just makes me feel a bit more comfortable about the water resistance. And on the note of the crown, this is a very small detail, but let me go ahead and zoom in and show you the crown when it's screwed all the way down. I may be crazy and correct me if I'm wrong, but that engraved logo on the crown is in the correct orientation when the crown is screwed all the way in. That is a minor detail, but that is amazing. Look at the logo there, and now look at the logo at 12 o'clock. The engraving on the crown is in the correct orientation when it's screwed all the way in. I don't even have that on my Rolex. That is an amazing attention to detail. 2 big thumbs up. That is a lot of good, but there is no perfect watch, and there are a few things that I ended up not liking while I was wearing it. The first thing is the engraving on the case back. Don't get me wrong, I think the engraving is absolutely beautiful, but I found it to feel a little bit sharp and rough, so when the watch is on your wrist and it's moving around, it can feel like you're getting a little bit of a scratch. It's not the worst feeling thing, it's not super duper uncomfortable, but it's something that I noticed and I wanted to point out. And the second thing that I noticed while wearing this that I wasn't super keen on is sometimes the dial feels very small because of the size of the bezel, and then the rehot also makes the dial feel even smaller. So sometimes when you look down in certain lighting, the dial feels kind of small. In other lighting, it feels great. That's legitimately it. While I was wearing this, my only 2 complaints were sometimes the dial looks a bit small, and sometimes it feels a bit scratchy on the wrist. That's pretty good. So in conclusion, what do I think about this? I think you're getting a ton of watch for your money. It is an incredibly legible design, and it pulls from a bunch of classic watches, but not too much from any one watch, so it doesn't feel like a ripoff. It feels like a standalone watch that pays homage to a bunch of really cool icons. And I really enjoy wearing this, and I am thrilled that they put this out, and I was able to support Mark and TGV. There you go. I don't know what else to say. That was my experience with the Islander times the Urban Gentry Rangemaster, an absolutely stunning bang-for-your-buck watch. I am really excited to see what they do with this model over the coming year because they hinted that they were going to be expanding on it. They don't want to destroy the value of the limited edition. I don't care about that. It's a great looking watch. As many people who want one should be able to get one. That would be fantastic. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy the watch that I have is going to continue to be valuable, but that's not why I bought it. I bought it to support Mark and TGV, and because I think it's a great looking watch and I enjoy it. It puts a smile on my face. That's it. I have nothing else. Thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you hated it. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Whoa, whoa, boop.